Hello, and welcome to a special Wednesday edition of Not Midnight Lunch News. We're changing it up a little bit today. It's the Midnight Lunch Show. I'm David.
And I'm Dan.
And that's Dan, and we have a special guest here today with us. This is Will, and if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, Will, and maybe what was your previous association with Midnight Launch?
Well, okay, I'm Will. I don't know what to say about myself. I'm a father of two. I spend my time playing video games because I can't leave the house when they're in bed. So,
Will, do you like long walks on the beach?
not particularly.
Wow, what a Debbie Downer.
Yeah, that's me.
All right.
Yeah, I like the beach, just not long walks.
And you were part of Midnight Lunch back in the day, right? It was you and Dan, and was it one more person?
No.
No?
Nope, that
No.
wasn't
Someone
me.
else?
Nope,
Who
no, it
was
wasn't
that?
me.
No, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't.
I
Yeah.
thought that was Will. Look, let's be honest. All Canadians are the same to me. All right, I'm an American. You all look the same. You all sound the same. So that's my bad.
Y'all.
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 Yeah, I said y'all. Damn, Skippy. Well, today we're gonna be talking about. Well, we're gonna be talking about Sea of Thieves, the new game from Rare, and we're gonna be talking about the Xbox Game Pass. And that's primarily what we're going to be focusing on today. I hear some stuff did happen. If you're a World of Warcraft fan, Mythic raids are now cross servers, so that's really excited. There was a Overwatch patch, new character dropped named Bridget. Everyone, her name is Bridget. People have been mispronouncing it Brigitte or Brigitte. No, it's Bridget. All right, that's how you pronounce it. And Dan Sombra got nerfed. Aww. She got buffed and then she got nerfed. This is what Blizzard does. By now, we should not be surprised. And Call of Duty is going to be a Battle.net game when the next one comes out. So that was a little bit interesting. And we'll see what that does to the price of gold via tokens and so on and so forth. But that is your quick kind of Blizzard news catch up because I can't help but not talk about it. But now let's move on. Sea of Thieves comes out. It came out. I think it actually
Yesterday.
came out it came out yesterday in the U.S. and in Europe. But I think it came out a couple days before that in New Zealand or something like that. I could be wrong. But most of us, yesterday was our first day playing it. And first impressions, depending on who you are, were amazing, terrible, or, sort of a mixed bag in between. Dan, what did you think of it?
I've really been enjoying it. The only thing I could say that I didn't really like right off the bat was the character customization was a little bit lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there is no customization, you basically get to just have a group of pirates come up and you can select to favorite some of them so that when you tell it that you want to see a new group of pirates, it'll save those ones and then randomly generate a couple more.
Right.
And that's it. That's your initial customization. Things get better from there on afterwards, but
so
I guess the other go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, fine. I was gonna say the only other problem is it was a little bit challenging trying to figure out what everything did because they kind of went with the Minecraft style and just not tell you how to play the game.
Oh yeah,
let you figure out how to play it yourself.
Absolutely no tutorial. Like there's nothing. It's you pick your character, and then you're dropped on the island, and that's it. Like there's nothing else. I'm okay with that. but I
Yep.
know some other people might not be.
Some little things would be helpful. Like I don't need like a full walkthrough, but
Right.
there were
Will,
certain things that it would have been helpful.
what were your first impressions?
I had a blast when we were playing together last night. That was so much fun. Um, yeah,
Now,
I really like this game. The art
how much
style
of that
totally suits me.
was you getting to play with me again versus how much of it was Sea of Thieves? Are you capable of actually separating the two?
I'm not sure that I am. No, I think who you play with is a big part of this. I could see it being fun as a solo player if you're just grinding to deck out your ship and your pirate. But I think the main draw to this game for me is playing with your friends,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. This game is make or break based off of the people you play with.
Yeah,
For me, that's kind of my
well, I
opinion.
completely agree with you. I honestly, I think they've done some amazing things with this game, and we're going to talk about all of those. But I also think they've made a few choices to the detriment of the game. I honestly think one of those choices might have been having a single player mode because I don't think this game has any legs in single player whatsoever. I don't know how you can make a compelling experience out of doing the same, three types of quests over and over again to get cosmetic upgrades to an avatar that 90% of the time you don't even see because you're in first person view. So as a single player, I just I don't see why people would play it.
Not for the
Agreed.
price of the game.
Certainly,
If
and
this
Not
that's
for
were
the
like a
AAA
free to
price tag.
play,
too. Right.
if it were a
Yeah.
free to play game, then single player I can totally get.
Right.
But
Or-
if you're
or
buying
even,
this to play, well, if you're buying this to play solo, and you're paying $80 for that, like that's a hard pill to swallow.
Oh, dude, it's
Yeah,
I can't imagine somebody doing that and being happy with their purchase unless they were just like they just needed something to fill that skull-shaped void in their heart because they haven't had enough pirates in their life and they just needed a pirate game and they were like, all right, well, whatever, I'll take it, it's got pirates. But for most people, I think the single player game they would absolutely find lacking. So
Yeah, agreed.
we're not saying
you have to
you
be
can't do
specifically
it.
looking for this sort of game.
Right, exactly. We're not saying you can't do it, and we're not saying nobody would have fun doing it. But I do believe most people would not have, near as much fun, obviously, as if they were playing with their friends. And that leads us to another thing. Oh my goodness, this game is just so much fun with your best friends. Like,
Yes.
there are games that are fun when you play them with people you know, but playing them with the people that you know doesn't necessarily like increase that enjoyment in a non-linear fashion. Whereas with this game, playing it with somebody else might be fun, but playing it with like your best friends, it's twofold, threefold, fourfold more fun than it would be otherwise, which isn't necessarily something you see with titles like World of Warcraft, where, I mean, yeah, you're playing it with your friend, but there's no divergent gameplay that happens because you are there with your friend. And you're just chatting with them while you're doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
So I think that's one thing that people need to take into consideration. Let's talk about the look of the game, because that is obviously that's like the first thing you see is the look and the presentation of the video game.
Yep.
What's your guys' take on it? Do you like the art style? Do you absolutely hate it? Could you take it or leave it? What do you guys think about it? Dan, you can go first.
I really like it. I really like it personally. Uh, the look of the pirates themselves works for me. I'm good with the way they look. I like the buildings. The foliage on the islands is a little but it's not too bad. But when you're on the ocean and the waves are crashing, up against the hull and you're just going all out and you're sailing away and you see the sunset going down to one of the sides of the ship. It's really, really pretty.
Yeah, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Will, what did you think?
I totally agree. I love the aesthetic of this game. This is like the perfect aesthetic for this gameplay. Like if it was a more serious pirate game, maybe a more realistic art style would be appropriate. But when you can fire yourself out of a cannon and you're fighting cartoony skeletons and whatnot, it's perfect. I love this art style. I don't think they could
Yeah.
have done a better job at, honestly.
I'm in complete agreement with you. I think there is something to be said for art styles in this day and age that don't take themselves too seriously. And I'm gonna kind of go a little deep on this. Um, the more realistic looking you make a game, the easier it is to kind of break that suspension of disbelief when something does not look right. All right, so and I think pretty much everyone can agree with that. The more realistic something looks, the more you expect everything to look realistic. So when something doesn't look like you think it should, it's like it takes you out of that experience.
Yes,
This
agreed.
game does a
Totally.
great job of not putting you into a position where the art style can pull you out of the experience, but still feeling like it's really grounded and feeling immediately recognizable. And I think this is, as far as art direction goes, I think this is one of the best games that I have played in recent history, because it feels like everything fits together. Everything looks like you would expect it to, based on the art style that they've gone with. And just the colors are so vivid, and the animation is very smooth. And I was extremely happy with it. And the water looks nice too.
Yeah, agree. And to your point of when something doesn't look right, like I was just playing Assassin's Creed Origins this weekend and did the Final Fantasy part,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like it took me right out of the game
Mm-hmm.
when I did that quest, because you
Yeah, that
get
was a little
this
strange.
you get like the engine sword,
Right.
which the shield was like, okay, the shield I can
Mhm.
kind of whatever, but definitely that engine sword, and then your chocobo camel. Like it just, I
Yeah, the
couldn't use them.
mount. Yeah.
I
I
could not use the
I
sword.
was
I could not use the chocobo.
the chocobo. Okay, I love that it's there. But I absolutely was disappointed that it was a camel dressed up as a chocobo. I thought you were gonna get a real chocobo, like
Right.
bird creature, and I was like, why not? Like, if you're gonna go crazy and you're gonna do some silly Final Fantasy Assassin's Creed crossover, like, just give people a two-legged bird if they want to use it, and if not, they never have to summon it. You've got that clear choice there.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, it's
but
not like there wasn't a precedent for two-legged bird creatures
yeah, no, I mean, we would.
that you could ride,
What?
right?
What? I don't even. I don't
Ostriches?
even know. Emus.
Yeah.
Ostriches
And emus.
and emus. I think emus are too small to be ridden, but I do know that people do like ostrich
Do
races.
I? I actually didn't
Oh, they
know
may not
that.
sit. They might be a cart.
I had no clue that
Dude,
Nope,
you
it's
could
they
like
sit
have
right on
down
them.
in like
ridden
Nevada. Oh, do
ostrich.
they sit on them? Okay. Yeah, down in like Nevada, like certainly in Reno, they have
Look,
ostrich
this is not
racing.
something we do in Texas, okay? We ride horses and other things that wouldn't be appropriate to talk about. But
Oh God.
definitely not ostriches. Um,
Anyways, back on point. Art direction.
Art
Art
direction,
direction in Sea of Thieves is
absolutely A
great.
plus. Everything is great as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. And
To get,
go ahead.
I was gonna say to get back on point, it's on point.
Yes,
The art.
absolutely. And I know I kind of like flippantly said the water looks nice. The water looks freaking amazing in this game.
Oh yeah.
Like when you are
Yeah.
sailing and the waves are a little bit choppy and the sun kind of lights up the cap of a wave and kind of gives it that brighter greenish tint. I like it. It just looks amazing. The moon reflecting off the waves, like just ah, I don't know. It's
So
absolutely
good.
it's great. We'll move on to sound, which, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to sound and music, um, especially in a game like this, the less you notice it, the better. I don't think sound can add a great amount to an experience like this, especially music, more so because it's kind of one of these games where you're a pirate, you're out exploring. Well, when you're exploring the real world, there's not usually music playing, and they use music very sparingly in this game. So every once in a while, you'll hear a little bit of music to kind of just add to the environment. But
Unless you bring out your instruments.
right, unless you
Yeah,
bring out
like
your
you can.
instruments and then you have a jam party.
Yeah, and
I
that's kind of fun.
actually, yeah, well, I was just gonna say that's one of the things that Will and I were doing earlier is that if you have one person using, I think it's a mandolin. I don't know the one that kind of looks
No,
like
I
a
don't know what it's
guitar
called.
kind of thing, but
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's the
yeah,
one you crank.
and
Yeah.
then somebody else has an accordion,
Mm-hmm.
and when you play them, they'll play the same song together if you're within proximity to each other. And that was just neat and fun, and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, yeah, you don't hear a ton of music. You'll hear a little bit when you're sailing, but it's not intrusive into the game.
Right. Right.
You don't have sea shanties though, like you had in Black Flag. I miss the sea shanties a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of miss those, but it certainly makes sense. Like within Black Flag, it made sense.
Yes.
Since you were sailing this large ship and you had a whole bunch of pirate NPCs.
Yes,
and
agreed.
then historically, from a historic standpoint, it also made sense there. Wouldn't really make so
Yep.
much sense in this game.
It wouldn't be
glad-
I
out
mean,
of
we
place.
we could just start singing sea shanties while we're playing.
We could. There's nothing stopping us. There's absolutely nothing stopping us. I'm glad they went at it with a light touch. I think the game
Yes.
Yes.
benefits from that. I think it's kind of like not necessarily addition by subtraction, but addition by a lack of addition, if that makes any sense. The
Yep.
neutralness of it all is relatively nice. Gameplay. Oh man, I honestly like. I wish I could split gameplay into two different categories. One category would be sort of the divergent gameplay that happens when you're chilling with your friends and you're just doing weird stuff together, and then the other would be quests and things that the game sends you out to do. So let's actually
Right.
do that. What do you guys think of sort of the quest structure, the more organized gameplay that the game tells you, here, go do this?
It has some
I-
room for improvement, in
Okay.
my opinion.
Yeah, Will.
I think for now it's fine. We've only done a few of them,
Mhm.
and it seems fine. They're fun. They're kind of neat. You go find a buried treasure. You go pick up a chicken.
Find some chickens.
But I'm just or some chickens or shoot a chicken when you get the wrong one. Um, but I don't know. I don't see how well it'll play out over a long period of time, how repetitive it is.
Right.
I can see that maybe being a problem, but I don't know that yet. I can't really say for sure, but I guess that's my apprehension about this game is that the grind is too monotonous,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Right.
I
And I mean, one other thing that I did like though is that they didn't. It's not hand holding. You when you pick up a voyage, as they're called in this one, as opposed to a quest or whatnot. There isn't
right.
a giant marker in the sky saying "Go here."
No,
You know, you
there's
need to have
not. As a matter of
somebody.
fact, like there
Yeah,
are absolutely no UI elements except for your life bar. Like, and even then, when your life bar is full, like it disappears.
yeah,
So
which I
when you
like
play
quite
this
a bit.
game, yeah, there's no mini map. There's nothing on the screen. If you need to look at the map, you pull up the map, and
Yeah,
you don't have a little blinking marker telling you where you are on the map. So when you get to an island, you probably ought to kind of look at the layout of the island, and then find a recognizable spot to kind of drop yourself off at, so that you know on the map where you're starting out. So that's a little bit rough, I think, for today's gamers. I think a lot of people are gonna see that,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, they're gonna freeze. I have no clue what to do.
My
yeah,
wife was actually
and they
playing
could.
earlier today, and she found that. She's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. And she says, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. So, it's definitely different. Like it really doesn't, like you were saying, hold your hand or anything like that. You just got to figure it out. And she also mentioned that there was no tutorial, like you had mentioned before too. And she thought that was strange. She's like, I need a tutorial. So yeah, for some people it'll be a little hard to get going, I think. But
Yeah, and I mean that's where they're trying to trade in on the same style that Minecraft took when they started, which was it became such a big sensation because people would go online and have to try and figure it out, and people would give their tips on YouTube and whatnot, and that's kind of how that game became a viral hit.
Hmm.
Was just from people posting, "Hey, I figured this out," and other people would go and watch that, and it would just kind of perpetuated from there.
Yeah, almost like fostering a community through a lack of information. The community
Yep.
has to come together in order to solve these puzzles that, for the most part, the game would give you the answers to in the tutorial. um, and that can be really great in fostering a tight knit community within a video game. And a lot of these
Yep.
video games that last a long time do so because they have those sort of tight knit communities. So we'll have to see if that's sort of a boon for this particular game, because Minecraft, as far as I can tell, having played 3 or 4 hours of Sea of Thieves, Minecraft is far more complex than Sea of Thieves could ever even wish to be. Um, but but yeah, so let's talk about just screwing around with friends. Is this game a good place to do it? Like, is this a good sandbox?
I think it's a fantastic place to just mess around with friends and just just go and sail around for a little bit and potentially see if you can find some ships, other players that you could potentially attack and plunder their loot
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. I think it's a great game for that. I think that's where the game is really going to shine is you playing with your friends and just messing around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
I think it's a little different. I don't know, like outside of like making mistakes and kind of goofing off while you're doing the missions, that's fun and hilarious at times. I don't know if I'd ever just go wander around and try to whack my friends with a sword or shoot them with my pistol because it really doesn't do anything. Like there's no shenanigans like that where you can actually really annoy your friends, I guess.
Other than
Um,
Tossing him in the brig.
Putting them in
people
the
out in the
brig.
brig.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really awesome.
That was the first thing we did to Will when he got in the game, was we just sent him straight to the brig. I've heard from a
Yeah.
lot of people that is their experience. when it comes to multiplayer, as you guys found out earlier, if you queue up for a three-person vessel, for example, but you only have two people, it will automatically matchmake you with a third. And a lot of people that are joining these random four-person games are, literally joining the game and they find themselves automatically in the brig because three other people are like, let's be jerks, and just automatically put the person in the brig that joins. And then,
Yeah, and I
uh,
definitely see that this game can be a griefer's paradise.
yes.
Yeah, that too.
Especially because they have a proximity-based voice chat
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the game itself. So if you're not in a party, an Xbox Live party, and you are in proximity to anybody, whether they're your crewmates or other crewmates, you will be able to hear them in game.
Mm-hmm.
And that can certainly foster a toxic or negative space. But I guess it all depends. We'll have to see how things pan out. And
Yeah,
And I
they might
think
need to
we,
add an opt-out option for the PvP part of it. Like if you're just a single player and you want to go around doing your quests, just, upgrading your ship, upgrading your pirate. I don't even, they're not really upgrades, but doing up your
cosmetic
ship or doing
upgrades.
up your
Yeah,
pirate.
yeah.
Yeah, cosmetic
yeah,
upgrades, right? If that's what you're just grinding away to make yourself pretty, and some jerk comes along or some ship of four comes along and sinks your little sloop, I mean, that's more disruptive than anything. Like that's not even fun for a single player, you know.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think that should be you should be able to opt in or opt out. But maybe like at login or something like that. So you can't just all of a sudden switch mid game and be like, now I'm gonna attack this guy or whatever. But I think some
yes.
thought should be put into that.
But I
Yeah,
think that should only be for maybe one or two players. I think if you're in three or fours, you should automatically be set for PvP. Just
Yeah,
because that's kind
I
of the
think
point
that's
of the
fine.
game, right?
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel
I think
like.
that would
So
be
one or
fine
two
actually.
players.
Go ahead.
Well, just saying, like one or two players be able to opt in or out of PvP, and then everybody else has to be PvP.
Yeah, I feel like the world feels extremely empty as is when it comes to players and NPCs. I've played a total of about 4 or 5 hours. We played together yesterday for about 2 hours, and then we played another 1 hour today before the show because I wanted us to kind of get a second view of it and kind of let some of the newness wear off so that we could try to get just a more grounded opinion of the game. And well, one of the things I noticed is, out of my 4 or 5 hours of gameplay and y'all's 3 hours of gameplay, we ran into other people one time. Now,
Yep.
we did see some other ships while we were sailing around earlier today, but they never came within, like sort of close proximity of our ship. I was literally in the crow's nest and I could only see them through my scope,
Spyglass.
spyglass. I was gonna say telescope. Um, so if you could opt out, that would have positive consequences for the single player. But the vast majority, actually, I think all of the schooners that I saw today were single mast, which means they had one person. Which means today I would have seen absolutely none. And I don't know that.
None that you could have attacked, essentially.
Well, none that. Assuming that all the ships out at sea that we saw today were player ships, we would have seen no ships. Or
Well, maybe you could still see them, but just not attack them, just so that it still feels like there's people out there.
I don't know. We'll see what they do. I guess the real question, and it's something that's at least I haven't experienced, but we can say based on our experience, I don't know that queuing for PvP or sort of the PvP implementation that they currently have where you're automatically open to PvP is an issue if you don't run into people but once every 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, well, and I guess that comes down to a question of, is our experience the norm, or
Right.
are we just getting exceptionally lucky and not seeing people?
Or unlucky, depending
Or
on
unlucky?
yeah,
Yeah,
how
depending.
you look at it. Um, and maybe that in and of itself is a problem. If we look at this and we're like, well, this doesn't particularly feel right. I feel like we should be seeing more people, or if someone says I feel like they should be seeing less people. Um, wow, I'm running a gameplay video in the background, and we just walked up to a vendor, and she looks like Eris Morn from
Hmm.
Destiny. She has like sort of the black stuff flowing
Yeah, I
from
made
her eyelids. Well,
yeah, I made that comparison too. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, "Yep, yeah, that's Eris
oh,
Morn."
that is Eris Morn. Eris Morn, originally from Sea of Thieves. I don't know how she ended up in Destiny. Um, but all right, so we covered, graphics, we covered sound, we covered gameplay. Let's uh let's let's just talk about, would you recommend somebody buy this game?
I would recommend only if they had people to play with. And that's it. I would not recommend this as a single, like if you just want to try it by yourself. My suggestion is do the Game Pass
Mm-hmm.
and try it out that way. I don't think it's worth a buy unless you have people to play with
Right.
On a regular basis. And I don't mean
on a
necessarily mean
regular
every
basis. Yeah.
day, but maybe, you're all online, you're like, "Oh, let's play Sea of Thieves tonight." Or every Friday we're going to do Sea of Thieves because what the heck. But
Yes.
if it's
Agreed.
going to be like you're going to be on wanting to play Sea of Thieves and your friends are on but they're playing Far Cry 5 because it just came out
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So you need friends to play this game, I feel, to make it worth the
Yes.
price tag for sure. So that's something you'd really have to consider.
So you brought up Game Pass, and I'm so glad you did, because it's just such a smooth segue into what we're going to be talking about in the second part of the video. Personally, I don't think anybody should buy this game retail, and I don't think anybody should buy it through the Microsoft Store. I think the only way you should buy and or pay for this game is through Game Pass. I think if you look at what is available right now, and if we judge the game based on the gameplay experience we've had, which has been admittedly amazingly fun, but not without its technical hiccups here and there, more often here right now. Um, it's not $60. It's certainly not $80 in Canada or Australia. Um, you know, but it is a $10 game. I absolutely think it's a $10 game for 1 month.
Yeah,
I'd even
I mean,
give
I
it,
can agree to that.
and depending on who you are, I could see myself willing to pay $30 to have a hard copy and whatnot, and I come back to it every now and then when I'm like just not really into playing something else that night. I'm like just gonna kill some time. I'm gonna collect some chickens. I'd pay $30 for that. But that's me, and I don't think everybody's like that. So, it's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
I think that, and I kind of want to talk about Game Pass, and specifically how this game is being marketed. You listen to the internet, and you look at a lot of reviews for this game, and a lot of people are upset at what they're getting for their $60 if you went and you paid full price. And I think I can understand that. I absolutely can understand that. And I wonder if Rare and Microsoft did themselves a disservice by actually having a full price retail copy of this game. What if this game was only available via Game Pass? What would you
Basically,
guys
make
think
it a
about that?
subscription-based game.
Yeah, yeah. Subscription based
Yeah.
game, free to play, free to download, and then 14-day trial, come in, play with your friends. If you want to keep playing, pay your $10 a month. Microsoft has a whole bunch of people subscribing to Game Pass to play this game, and suddenly you don't have all this negative press from people that paid $60 for this game, and they're like, oh, we didn't get enough of a game. This game is very threadbare right now, and there's not much to do. It's, man, I paid $10 to get a good month out of this game, and look at all these other games I get to play via Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
I mean, I think, sort of beauty in this case is in the eye of the beholder. Depending on how you frame the conversation, this can either be an amazing value or a terrible one.
I think part of the problem is
go
the
ahead.
consumer as well. Like, you got to, on the part of people being disappointed with what they got, to me it's like, well, what were you expecting? I mean, there's a lot of information out there. There was beta play. There was streamers playing this. Like, what were you expecting to get? Like, that's why I'm like, I didn't go out and buy it right away. Like, there was this opportunity to play it on Game Pass with a 14-day free trial, so I can play it for 2 weeks for free. To see how I like it. What were people expecting? Like, you get what you pay. Like, you can do research ahead of time, and the people who produced the game thought this was a full game, and they marketed it as such. And I don't think they over marketed it, if that's even a term.
It certainly
but,
was not No Man's Sky. And we've heard some comparisons. Dan and I think it was a Forbes article that tried to compare this to No Man's Sky. You've got to be kidding me. Like, this is, you cannot compare these two games. And then
that didn't even have a beta, did it? No Man's Sky?
I don't even know. I've tried to forget.
I don't think it did.
I
don't think it did even.
Either. I think you're right. I don't think there was a beta for that.
So no one knew. People just thought it was going to be great.
Well, yeah, and it was undelivered promises. I think if people have been paying attention, with this particular game, Sea of Thieves, we've gotten what we were promised. What has been shown is in the game, and there's nothing that was shown that's not in the game.
Well, and Rare is straight up said, like, they're going to be adding a lot more content. Like, they realize that it is a little content light, and they are going to be adding more as they go.
Right, and that's where I think this could have also benefited from just being Game Pass only. If you see this game as it is, even though it's content light, if you're a developer and you can say, well, you paid $10 for it, this is your $10 worth of content. We're gonna, in the future, we're gonna be improving stuff, adding stuff to the game. So keep your ears to the ground for updates. And, once you've gotten tired of the game, you don't think it's worth your money, hey, go play some of these other amazing games that are on Game Pass, or cancel your subscription. But we'll be more than happy to have you back when we do release a new content update. And if they could just keep that content trickling in, give enough people enough new things to make them feel like their $10 a month is worth it, I think that could be an amazing way to market a game.
Well, and I mean, like, I everything that I've seen about the game from Microsoft for pushing it has been largely based around them going, hey, get it with the Game Pass. Like, they aren't, the only place that I've seen them pushing physical copies is when you purchase a 1S or a 1X right now, you get it as part of the, like, they've got bundles for it right now.
Right.
And that's really the only place I've seen them been pushing physical copies. I really do think that they do want people to pick it up through the Game Pass instead.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think also Game Pass. I am so happy with what they're doing with Game Pass, and specifically this title on Game Pass. We know this title is cross-compatible, so all of the footage that we've captured, that we've put on YouTube, it was me playing on the PC, and Dan and Will playing on their Xbox One X's. I think both of you have an X?
No, I only have I
Oh,
have
okay. So
the what is
we
it?
have
The
all of the
Xbox One Elite or
consoles.
whatever it is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got, sort of the vanilla, we've got the X, and we've got the PC, and we were all having a great time playing together. So the stability of
Yep.
the cross compatibility, um, that is a great selling feature. But also, oh man, just Game Pass. I was thinking about Game Pass, and I'm like, this is oddly prosumer from a company that is, a little bit known, at least within the PC market, specifically talking about Windows, for being a little bit anti-consumer. Like, the Game Pass feels like just a breath of fresh air.
Right.
So I am.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with it. I think I agree with you where I'll maybe keep it on the Game Pass for, 1 or 2 months, see how they flesh out the game. I mean, at the very worst, I think Canadian wise it's $12 a month.
Hmm.
So at the worst, I spend $24 on the Game Pass and maybe I go, you know what? Never playing Sea of Thieves again unless they make substantial changes, and at that point, you know, I can
Maybe
just cancel it and
resubscribe.
wait.
Well, yeah, and when they
Yeah,
do make those
wait.
changes, go ahead and resubscribe. I think
Yeah.
people that play MMOs do this all the time. They'll
Oh,
subscribe
I've
to
done it.
something.
I've canceled and resubbed to World of Warcraft so many times.
Yeah, and I don't think those sort of, I don't think you can be angry when you pay $10 for, sort of that month-long experience when most titles that we're buying these days, whether it be Assassin's Creed, at least all these single-player titles, we're playing for God, maybe 40 hours, 60 hours at most within a month after getting the game, and we're paying
Yeah.
$60. Like, from a value perspective, this is just stunning.
Yeah. Well, and so here's how I look at these subscription-based services, whether it's subscriptions to MMOs, Netflix, Game Pass now, is I go, okay, so $12, which is kind of the standard in Canada right now,
Hmm.
is that's still cheaper than going to a movie by
Yes.
probably about $3 up here. So as long as I play the game realistically for more than 2 hours in a month, I am getting more entertainment value for my dollar than if I were to go to a movie.
Hmm.
So at that point, as long as, like I said, as long as I play at least in my mind 2 hours, then or watch, 2 hours of Netflix or whatever it is, then that subscription is worth it.
Which I think would be hard not to do.
Yes, very difficult to not do that.
uh, Absolutely. So, what else can we say about this game? I actually, that's a little bit of a rhetorical question. There is one thing that I wanted to bring up about Sea of Thieves, and I titled the video I released Sea of Thieves. For the first time in a long time, made me feel like a kid again when we were playing it together, and I just had such a refreshing experience playing this game with you guys. And it kind of, this is going to sound super sappy, but I don't care. It gave me hope because I haven't had an experience like this in a long time where I'm just playing a game for the pure fun of it, for the pure joy of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you know what?
you're maybe not, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like to me like board game night. When you have your friends over and you're just having a blast playing whatever board game you got there, there's shenanigans, there's whatever. It kind of felt like I was in my kitchen at the dining room table having a blast, but only it was a video game and I'm sitting in my basement in my nerd room playing a video game with my friends online. Like it had that
Right.
sort of this is great. I'm having a great time with my friends. It wasn't like I'm having a great time just playing a video game. I'm having a great time with
Yeah.
my friends because of this video game.
Yes.
Yes, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of gamers these days, um, and I definitely consider myself within this group because I'm speaking from, you know, kind of like within me. A lot of gamers these days, we play video games, and we don't necessarily play them for the childish fun of playing a video game like we used to as children. We now play them as an outlet for, you know, like our competitiveness, or, you know, we play them for, you know, to solve puzzles, you know, and that's great, right? I think that can be fun, but I don't think you get the same amount of joy from doing it, if that makes any sense. I think they're two very different ways of feeling good about what you're doing. Does that make
Right.
any
I
sense?
agree.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, it's the
No,
difference
I get it.
between. It's the same. It's kind of like the difference between me going out and playing a season of slow pitch. You know, I go to my Sunday night games or whatever and play slow pitch, which is competitive. Well, it's recreational, but it's competitive. You're playing against somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
or like we said, having friends over and playing board games. Some of those board games are cooperative, where you're playing against the game itself. It really felt like that, as opposed to I gotta beat somebody.
Well, and
This game was like I don't have to beat anybody. I just gotta go sail and collect my chickens and dig a
yeah,
treasure
that's
and joke
exactly
around with my
it.
friends.
For the longest time, I have not had that feeling. I've been playing World of Warcraft, where you're killing bosses, looking for loot in order to min-max your character. I've been playing, you know, Destiny and first-person shooters, where for the most part it's you versus, you know, some other guy, and you're trying to 360 no scope headshot the guy to make yourself feel better about yourself. And this is just pure joyous fun. And I'm so glad to have a game that came out that, you know, sort of made me feel that sort of childish joy again, because it had been so long. I had been starting to question whether or not I was ever going to find a video game that would do that for me anymore. So, man.
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I got so
No,
deep.
no,
You got so
I just
sappy.
no.
had
It
to
was
take it
fun.
there.
It was just fun. The setting is fun. The aesthetic is fun. Like it would. I don't think it would be nearly as fun if it was like a little bit more realistic art or anything like. It just.
Yeah, like
It's
if
kind
they
of the whole
took Black
package. Is,
Flag, like if they
yeah.
took Black Flag and did this, which they actually are doing, I don't know that it would be as fun.
So
No,
is
you'd almost want to take it more serious because it looked more serious, right?
Yes.
Even if the quests were the same, it would be like, this looks like a real person. I don't want to. I'm going to treat him like a real person or something. And this was like, this is cartoons. This is cartoons. This is Saturday morning cartoons that I get to goof around with.
Mhm.
Yes.
So is the game more than the sum of its parts? Is that something we can say reasonably? Because I think if you look at this game, if you take any single part and you kind of look at it, you know, segregated from everything else. Wow, segregated. I was born in the South. From anything
Oh my
else.
Oh, Dave.
and
Dave.
you know, I don't think any one part of it is all that impressive, but kind of when you combine everything, e- everything just clicks, and everything like feeds off of every other part of this game, and suddenly these disparate parts that in and of themselves might not be that great just kind of turn into a masterpiece of fun.
I think that's right. It's like the experience is more than just the game, right? It's the game is simple, so you don't have to think extra hard to do it. You can just enjoy yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's it's simple enough, but not ridiculously so. And it looks fun. Like I don't know how else you describe the look. I mean, it looks fun.
Yeah.
And
It does.
it exudes
Everything
fun.
about it is like, yeah, everything about this game. It's like when they went to the planning board, they were like, all right, what do we do? Well, we're going to make a game that's fun. And every part of that is going to go towards the fun. So the art is fun. The sounds are cartoony and fun. The chickens and what they do, I mean, it's just fun. It's silly.
When they periscope their heads out of the
Yes,
cages.
and that's actually what's on right now. It's you can't. Oh my god, that is wow. That is
Perfect
coincidental.
timing.
Absolutely perfect timing, ladies and gentlemen. Dan cannot see what you are seeing right now. It just so happened that the chickens are periscoping, as you said that. Um, it's just, it's a good game. I hope that they deliver on their promises to add more content to this game. And they've said in their interviews that when we built this game, we built it from the ground up to be an experience that grows and evolves as time goes by. So it kind of sounds like they were hedging from the very beginning, um, with the lack of content. Like they knew from the start that there were going to be people that are going to say, man, there's not enough content in this game. So they kind of got out ahead of it by saying, okay, well, we understand that, but this is why. So
I think it seems like. Sorry, I was just going to say. I said it. I think it seems like they want it to be really great, and they're willing to put in the effort to be really great. But right now, they're happy with it's good, and we need to get it out now, and then they'll work on it because they want to work on it. They think they have something here.
I think they have something here.
Yep.
And if their game engine, it's based on Unreal 4, so obviously the game engine is solid. But if the underpinnings are solid, where they can add new and compelling content as time goes by, I can definitely see this game, and this is assuming I only play via Game Pass, which is the only way I would play it. Yeah, I can see myself spending 60, 70, or $80 over the next. They said they wanted this to last 10 years. They're kind of doing like the Destiny plan where they say, "Oh, we want this."
I was gonna say,
to
what
be
is
an
with all
evolving
these companies being like 10 years?
Yeah,
It's gonna last 10
it's
years.
gonna outlast the console generation, right? Like
Yeah.
that's so whatever. We'll see. But I'll definitely spend $60 coming back maybe 2 or 3 times a year to hang out with you guys, and in between other large releases. I can definitely see that happening. So, man.
Right.
Well, did you guys want to add anything? This has actually been a relatively short show, clocking in at only 52 minutes. I feel like we need to keep talking.
No,
Um,
I think that's it. I want to get back. I need to sail some more.
Dude, Dan did not want to do this show today. I'm gonna let y'all know right now.
Oh, I
he
did not
he did
say
no.
that.
He did not want to do the show. He was like, nope. I want to go sail.
I
want to go be a
wanted to do
pirate.
it before we did sailing.
Well, I wanted us to get a second look at the game. Oh, and just for everyone listening, ping, which is latency, another term for latency, so much better today than it was yesterday, and we played at a similar time, which was another reason that I wanted us to play before the show, so that we could look at these things and kind of report back on the 24-hour improvement if we had any. There was some, I think yesterday, the ping was, 200 to 300, spiking all the way up to 700. Today, very solid, upper 90s, lower 100s, far more playable than it was yesterday. So we're already seeing
Yes.
some improvements. Before we go, one last thing. You actually sent me a developer video earlier today where
Yep.
Rare talked about some of the issues that they had been seeing, and they gave us some relatively interesting numbers. And we'll talk about those real quick. 5,000 people logging in per minute during prime time yesterday. Over 1 million people have played it. And
Yeah, over a million unique logins.
yeah, 1 million. So 1 million unique people played this game within the first 2 days of launch or 24 hours of launch. And if you're wondering why you had problems, well, there you go. They weren't expecting it. This is what happens when you give out a game for free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they did. I don't know how they didn't expect this to happen, but anyone who's any sort of a gamer saw this and was like, well, wait a minute. Game Pass and then 14-day free trial means I can play this game for free for 14 days. And we all inundated the servers. I wasn't going to play this game. Dan, were you going to pick it up on day one?
I didn't know that I was going to pick it up on day one. I did want to give it a try, but if none of you guys had even thought about like doing even the 14-day thing, I probably wasn't going to.
And how about Will? Were you going to pick it up on day one?
No, I wasn't even sure I wanted to do the free trial on Game Pass. I'm not usually into like monthly subscription type stuff. I mean, except for obviously Xbox Live Gold, which is necessary to play all my games, basically. No, I don't like the monthly subscription thing. So it was that you guys were going to play. So I'm like, you know what, I'll do it. And if I have to cancel it later, I'll cancel it. It's a little bit of a hassle for me, but to play a game free for 14 days that's priced as a AAA title. So this is where I'm coming at it from. It's, hey, this game is a AAA title priced game. They're letting me play it for 14 days for free. I mean, what do I have got to lose, really?
Yeah,
yeah.
Surprise, surprise. That's how you get 1 million people to play your game within the first 24 hours, right? You just give it away.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they had a list of things that they were working on. They know some people have been having issues where their items disappear. Bill actually had that issue last night. When we logged out, he couldn't access any of his items. They also know... Go ahead.
I was gonna say my wife actually had it today when she was playing earlier, where she lost her sword and her gun.
Right.
So
they know that's happening. They know that rewards, i.e. gold and reputation, are sometimes being awarded at a later time frame from when you actually turn in the quest. I do believe that is actually intentional. They did say that, right, Dan? They said the reputation delay was intentional.
I'm not sure if it was intentional or that they were just aware that it's basically because the game has to inform their servers that we finished this voyage, and then it has to come back down from the servers saying, yep, okay, I acknowledge that you completed this, here's the reward.
Right.
So
we got
a bunch of steps.
We'll link that video down in the description so that you guys can go ahead and watch it.
Yeah. Because we got our rewards pretty immediately yesterday.
We did.
Like we saw our gold go up.
We didn't get the achievement. You remember we were in the middle of the storm when we got that achievement that we should have gotten when we had turned in the previous quest. And that was actually, funnily enough, that was in the video that we posted. I do think that was intentional. I think that was a way they were trying to reduce load on the servers. And you know, they're working on it. And to have a company, a AAA company, after years of having dealt with Bungie and their lack of communication, to have, you know, a company like Rare come out on day 2 and say, look, these are the problems, this is what we're seeing, we wanted to inform you guys that we've got our eye on this, here's some of the things that, you know, we might be able to fix with a server-side update that won't impact you. These are the issues that you're having and you're seeing that might have to be a client-side update. So that might... And they gave us a time frame. And they said that might come in, you know, next Monday. And that was just so refreshing after being neglected by Bungie for so long. It made me feel awkward. I don't know how to react to that. I feel like it's just like they're gonna give it to us and then they're just gonna take it away, like just a mean child or something Like, here, let me extend that, olive branch and then pull it away, or, pull the rug out from under you. Uh, so, A plus on that rare. Let's keep it going. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Yep.
Dan,
Yep.
all right.
I think so.
Dan's checked out. He's actually he's actually playing Pirates right now on the Xbox.
No, I'm not. I'm at the select a galleon or sloop.
Oh, he's waiting for us to
I'm
be
stuck
done
there.
so he can hit
No,
the...
I'm stuck there. I hit a button when I went out to after I went out to the main screen after we left the previous game, and I hit a button and it takes you here and you can't get out of the screen.
No, you can't. What's up with that, Rare? Oh my god, this game completely unplayable. That one issue right there, it's done. Guys, we can't recommend this game to anyone. It's completely broken. That's not true. All right, well, I'm gonna stop talking because Dan is going to kill me if I pull him away from Pirates.
I'm gonna start spamming you with invites soon.
Guys, we would love to hear what you think about this game. So comment below. And guys, thank you so much for spending an hour with us while we just talked about the pirate life. I'm David,
and I'm sure we'll be uploading more videos of gameplay
yes,
as we go along as well.
I will have more videos for you guys as well. I guess I'll start the outro again. I'm David.
Okay. I'm Dan.
And I'm Will.
And that's Will. And we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening.